Hey, how you doing? Pete here from Growth Models. So, I wanted to talk today a little bit about Noom. A couple of years ago, myself and a chap called Dan McDermott, who now is the head of growth at Voris, which is like a sales training company. You should check them out. Um, we sat down and we did a big analysis of Noom because Noom was and still is really the premier, the number one health and weight loss app available. Um, there is there are a few who can compete with them, in terms of revenue, penetration, market penetration, all of this sort of stuff. And we did this massive analysis where we looked at everything from, let's pull out the index here, positioning, pricing, the acquisition strategy, how they're getting people through to sales sequence, takeaways, all this, right? Over the years since we published this, and this is still my number one performing article in Google search, like if you search for new marketing, this is still number one, right? That says number one Google, and that's it republished on LinkedIn, so we're number one and two. We don't really have many of the featured snippets, but anyway. A lot of consulting clients have come through in that time, and all of them, bar none, have asked me about this in particular. So this is the questionnaire or the form that Noom puts you through once you try to sign up. Now, this form has a number of different uses. It is there to help Noom understand more about you, to help them understand where you are now, where you want to be, so that they can tailor your plan and come up with this wonderful personalized weight loss plan. I don't think that it is truly personalized. I think, it is built around a basic calorie in, calorie out, and guidelines and estimates. Story for a different time. But what they have done is they built this thing, and it is 67 different steps, which goes against all of the common advice that you'll hear for building a form to get people to sign up. People say it needs to be as short as possible, as friction-free as possible. And that's good advice. And then Noom comes out with this big 67-step behemoth, and they're smashing the competition. So everybody wants to know why this, why it works, all of that sort of stuff. And they haven't really changed it too much. So we're going to run through it and talk about it. It's basically basic demographic information and understanding the goal so that you can get them to envision that goal. Capture their details, agitate pain and understand the why. So this is to make them feel that pain, put them in that emotional state so that they're ready to buy. Then, when they're feeling that pain, it's like, don't worry, we can help you. We're going to remove that fear. We're going to build the trust. We're going to say, yeah, it sucks where you are. It's horrible. We've got the solution. You can trust us. Then align the solution with their goals, and then build some little bits of belief with some social proof and stuff, and finally payment. It is a really, really smart form, and to put people through. But over the years, as I've said, I've had dozens of clients come to me and say, we want to build this. And people have come to me with ones that have already been worked out, which are exactly the same in terms of the length, in terms of the flow and everything. It's just the wrong way to do things. I do think that this is a very, very well done flow by the stages, but I don't think that you need to have so many questions. Most smaller brands, you're not going to know what to do with all of this information. It's going to be overwhelming for your team, so you can actually cut it down by a lot. So I thought we'd run through the new one and just, have some thoughts as we go through. So back on the new website, click continue. What is my weight loss goal? I want to lose 1 to 10 kilos for good. So this is just that basic demographic info, right? And I'm just, I've been through the first few of this. I'm just clicking the first few ones and putting in some generic things, still just demographic ones. So how many steps have we done? So 1 step. What Noom does really well is there is a fatigue that people will have when you just keep asking them questions. I mean, think of it. You're at a party. Somebody is there. It's just like, hey, how are you? What do you do? Where do you live? How old are you? How much do you weigh? How much do you want to weigh? People just pepper you with questions. It becomes tiring. You're like, oh, Jesus, I'm going to go. And, you get the same thing with forms. It feels more like an interrogation rather than this brand that's trying to help you. So what Noom does is they used to, and I haven't been through this in a while, they used to put these little breaks in that would kind of reset them asking questions, but also build a little bit more motivation with you. So we've got 1 question, 2 question, 3 question, 4, 5, 6. Am I at risk of any of the following? None. 7, 8. So 8 questions. And then we break from the questions, and just as you're thinking, my God, they're asking a lot of questions, they give you something that kind of resets your motivation to continue with this. Because, like, you know, with each question, your kind of motivation to continue drops. It's like, I'm doing all this work, I'm getting nothing back. And then they give you something like this that kind of pulls you back up. This is actually a good graph for it. This is your motivation. It goes down just as you're about to get to the point where you're like, do you know what, fuck this. I can't be doing this all the time. They push you back up with a little sort of placeholder. Now, if you're doing a very short form that's only 8 questions, you don't really need this. If you're doing these massive mammoth ones, you do need these kind of things in there to kind of reset that motivation, get people to want to continue. So this is just some social proof. We've helped 3 million. It's a specific number, so it seems more believable. If they just said 3 million, it's a bit like, how'd you get that number? This feels like they've gone in and pulled the numbers. I'm not sure if that's actually true. New subscribers who lost at least 2% of their original weight. Okay, October 2021, so we are 2 and a bit years out of date with that. And then we're back to the questions. So we've done the demographic stuff. Now we're on to the weight loss goals, the future pacing of this. What did I put in? I put 90, so let's just say I want to lose 10 kilo. And here you go again, another one. So this is another motivational step, which is predictive. And this is future pacing. This is getting the person to envision how much better their life will be in a day, a week, a month, however long it takes for your solution to work. You're getting them to envision that. And so what they've done here is they've also positioned themselves as an alternative to traditional diets. And this is the experience that a lot of people have with traditional diets. It's like a yo-yo diet. While you're on it, you lose weight. As soon as you stop, you gain weight. Then you're back on a diet, lose, and then you gain again. But with Noom, you're going to lose that weight. You're going to keep it off. And 6 months. So they give you a set timeline so that you know when you're going to see the results. Another little step that is kind of built around what you want to achieve to re-up that motivation once again. Here's the funny thing, right? And I'm hoping that this still works, otherwise it's going to look a bit thing. So it said it's going to take me 6 months. That is what they are predicting from this graph for me to lose 10 kilos, right? So if I now put 85, so I only want to lose 5 kilos, it's going to be 6 months. So, you know, this is why I think it's not as personalised as it could be. The flow is very good, but the outcome, a little questionable. Back in on the questions. Best describes your current priorities, yeah, whatever. Nutrition I want to focus on. So these all branch off in slightly different ways, but there's a lot of questions here. With a lot of the clients that I've worked with, some of these questions are just completely irrelevant. Some are great. Like, this is great. Again, this builds up to that future pacing. I want to lose, you know, I've got a wedding to go to in 6 months. Can you help me? What we know with December, so let's go. Yeah, whatever, there we go. What is the main reason for wanting to lose weight and improve my physical appearance? We've got you covered. We'll start with the small, realistic goals. Now we should be getting into the capture elements in a minute. So they've basically told me that in 6 months now, I can hit my goal. They've understood what it is that I want. I want to lose weight to look good for a wedding in 6 months. So know you're as fast as possible. And there you go, a little bit of social proof, just as we're getting to that point again. And then it will be lose twice as much weight, Noom. This is not analysing anything. And it will come up with a result that is based around that input that I put. So we can get you in shape for your wedding in 6 months. All we need is your email address. And show me someone Noom can help you reach 85 kilos and how much you'll lose by the wedding. There you go. And so basically that's it. And it's the same throughout this whole thing. Would you like us? No. And there you go. So I'm sure this one is a little more personalised than that initial graph that just said 6 months. So I said I've got to be in shape by June or July, and this is now giving me March, so perfect. That's also, we're now 11th of December, so that's like a 3-month commitment, really. You know, it's basically future pacing and removing the risk and saying, like, we're confident based on us helping 3 million people that we can get to this weight by this time. Do you need all of those questions? Not really, no. This is that up to that email capture. That's the key point, right? Because now they've got your email, and so they can start emailing you reminders and all of this sort of stuff. Now they get into all of this stuff here, profile quiz. Okay, and what you'll do is if you don't do this now, you'll get emails to then help you finish this off or to remind you to come back into the thing. But it's quite interesting, and that is, already what we've just completed is enough for most people and most clients and most brands to have. Most of them don't need all of this extra stuff right now. This is extra information. A lot of them don't really have, a lot of the people that I've worked with, don't really have the resources to really get good use out of all of this data. Capturing that email address is the first real step. But as you can see, it's a combination of getting them to feel that pain of like, oh, I want to lose weight. Why do you want to lose weight? I've got a wedding to go to. I need to get started now. Future pacing, saying, hey, we can help you hit that goal by that time, guaranteed, because we've done it for 3 million other people. If you just give us your email address, we can help you out. That, for most people, is enough. And you can actually do it in fewer questions than we had here. If you do need a few more questions, then make sure that you put some little breaks in every so often, just to re-up that motivation. You don't need 67. That was maybe 20 questions that we went through. That's more than enough for most people. Most brands, all that you need is where people are, understand where they are right now, understand the problem, understand the hurdles that are stopping them from reaching the solution, understand more about the solution, understand why they want to hit it. If you've got those elements, you can build a timeline and some compelling copy that talks about will help you overcome the hurdle to hit your solution for that thing that you need to. That's enough. But yeah, you don't need to copy Noom step for step. For most people, this little initial section here, you can have the same number of questions that touches on these different elements here to get enough information to get some results for people. And from that, you can then expand based on whether or not you need to. It is a really interesting, and I would recommend people from all different industries, not just health and wellness, but go through the Noom onboarding sequence, because it is really well done. Just the way that they keep you engaged and keep you interested and future pace things, it's really quite smart. So check it out, and if you've got any questions or anything, and you're not sure if yours is working, reach out. I'll see if I can't help. In the meantime, take care. Enjoy going through Noom's onboarding.